not going to say warning, but my classes typically are more on the heated side, more on the yang side. I love yin, absolutely. I teach a lot of yin and restorative myself, but my classes tend to be very physically demanding. So please listen to your own body, and if you ever feel what I'm doing is just not for you today, find modification or rest in child's pose for a while. But yes, that is my plan, to go on more of the heated side, since I know there's a lot of yin throughout this retreat every day. So kind of balancing that with some yang style movements. And I just got this, and it's a brand new toy, my little tree box. So I'm going to be just saying a very simple chant. You feel free to close your eyes, maybe your palms face up for more open and receptive, or if you are looking for more grounding, to place your hands down somewhere on your body. Closing the eyes and just beginning to take some deep breaths. Not forcing the breath, but noting where you're breathing from. Maybe right away you notice that you're more up in your chest area. Or perhaps you're nice and balanced, you're breathing evenly from the belly and the chest, which is our goal that we want to get to eventually, for right here, right now. You're just feeling where that is. If you're breathing more at the base of the belly, or you're just kind of up into the chest region, and see if you can begin to balance out the breath. Perhaps even counting for a moment. 4 on the inhale, and 4 on the exhale. After a few rounds of counting the breath, you'll naturally keep this rhythm, and you can let go of the counts in your head. Here in your seated position, beginning to draw your chin gently into the chest and take nice and easy circles, perhaps feeling you want to stay on one side a little bit before you continue the circle around. Never forcing these circles, just feeling where you are, and each time you go around, let's reverse. So the second your chin reaches back to your chest, you simply go the other way. I'm going to stay on my shins, but you can come, or if you're in a cross-legged seat, this works the exact same way. So raising your right arm up overhead, I'm gently going to lean to the side, Feeling a gentle stretch through my side body or intercostal muscles between the ribs. Trying to lift even higher on the way up and switching to the other side. We're going to take this at our own pace, a few rounds. Feel free to stay longer if you feel good on one side for several breaths, but you can turn this eventually into a flow back and forth. And for those who didn't join or hear my first comment, I tend to teach on the more advanced physical side of yoga, or that yang side. So do take care of your own bodies. Never press yourself if you're feeling what I'm doing is just not working for you. It's totally okay. Take care of your bodies. I'm going to add a scoop around. So as I lean to the side, I'm coming forwards, up, and around. Just adding that in. Gently coming back center, finding a clasp behind the back, and a gentle opening through the chest. So I'm just lifting my chest up. Try to keep the palms together. Finding interlace of your hands in front of you and push away. Repeating one more time. So I'm just finding a cat-cow spine with an interlace of the hands. So we're arching the spine, lifting the chest up. Palms stay together. You can lift the arms up slightly for a stretch through the shoulders. And release the collapse. Come forwards in front of you. Exhale, press away. Okay. Finding your way onto hands and knees, tabletop. Make sure your shoulders are stacked over the wrists, hips over the knees. And once you're set up, before we do anything, we're going to take a little warm up through the wrists. So a lot of times, especially when you go into more intense work, is the wrists give out first. So it's really important to take care of the wrists. I'm really anchoring the knuckles of my hands, especially the pointer finger and the thumb down. The tendency is to lift that off the mat, and then we're creating tension in the wrist that we don't want to. So index knuckle pads firmly rooted. My fingers are pulling in towards me slightly. So getting that hand position down right away before we do anything else, and then just take gentle rocks forwards and back over the wrists. This is a little shift that we will need for our chaturangas later, so it's just a little warm up essentially for chaturanga. And these little rocks, let's take them into circles. Always reversing other way. Flipping the fingertips to face the side edges of your mat. From there, I'm going to take these rocks side to side, leaning to the right and left. Now, if it's not too much right away, you can try one hand at a time if both hands is too much, but I'm flipping the fingers in to face my body. So it's going to be quite an intense stretch through the forearm. See how that feels for you. You might want to begin round of cat-cow right here with the fingers flipping in. Again, if it's way too much, especially as you round your back into cat, just flip the fingers back in front. So I'm inhaling as I melt my belly down and gaze at an angle, not totally up to crank the neck, but at an angle. And exhale as I press the floor away and gaze towards my belly. So I'm going to flip my fingers back for myself here. The inhale for me is a little bit more passive, because on that exhale, I'm actively pushing away. I'm feeling the belly button zipping up into the spine, and I'm pressing back. So much so that I feel a stretch in the upper part of my spine. Continuing at your own pace, following your breath. If you haven't engaged that Ujjayi breath yet, we are inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose with that gentle constriction or that ocean breath at the back of your throat. Inhale and the exhale should sound very similar. If someone were to be standing near you, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference on your inhale and exhale. free to add in any variations, perhaps some circles through the torso, play around, creative movement time for a bit here as I lower the volume of this music. Great. Finding your steady, your neutral spine, as I say. I'm going to draw my left knee in towards the center between my hands and just raise my left leg up. So I'm just adding on an extension of the leg. I'm arching and curling the spine as well. So exhale as I draw a knee towards the nose and extend. Just adding on that leg. From here, an option to just extend the leg back and raise the left arm forwards, or we sweep the left arm up and back, bend that back knee and catch the foot, or catch the ankle. If you do have that clasp, kick back into your hand gently, and see if you can take your gaze straight forwards. Gently release the right knee down. On an inhale, we'll raise the left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale as we draw the shoulder down towards the mat and extend the right arm long. To increase this twist, we can walk the fingertips slightly over towards the left side of the mat and press down with the back of the left hand. Your hips shouldn't change here, and we're rotating our gaze, if you can, towards the ceiling. Come on back through tabletop. From here, right knee in towards the center. Left leg inhales high as you arch the spine. Exhale, curl. Knee in towards your nose. At your own pace. Keeping the leg extended behind you, option to just reach the arm forwards and hold here, or we circle the arm back. Bend that knee, catch the ankle, flex the foot. Gaze forward, I'm actively kicking my foot into my hand. Gently releasing that knee down, we inhale the right arm up towards the ceiling. Taking the twist on the second side as we draw the shoulder down towards the mat and left arm extends long. Maybe you walk the fingers to the right side of the mat and gently press with the back of the right arm. Finding our way back towards a tabletop. Walking the hands forward and the chest melts down into puppy or heart melting pose. The hips stay stacked over the knees, and if you have the flexibility for it, your chin may drop down towards the mat. For me, I'm going to opt to drop my forehead all the way down. Pressing our way back to tabletop, neutralizing the spine by taking one more cat back. Press the floor away actively. Belly button zips up into the spine. Straight from this position, we tuck the toes under and press our way towards our first downward dog. Keeping it flowing and moving to start, so perhaps you want to take a few pedals through the feet. After several breaths here, I want us to aim towards stillness. Or like I like to call active stillness. We're never totally still in any yoga posture we do. Check in where the weight is in your hands. Maybe you want to try lifting your wrists, words today. Wrist the heels off, or the, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get my body parts right, I swear, this afternoon for me. So yeah, the weight should be in the knuckles of your hands, mostly. So theoretically, you should be able to lift the wrists slightly off the mat. That will be a lot of strength required from your forearms, but it's safer on the wrist. So just once in a while, as a check-in for myself, I'm like, where's my weight placement? Am I pouring it into my wrist because I'm getting tired, or am I actively pressing into the knuckles? I am, my wrists are down on the mat, but it's very light, little to no weight. On an inhale, let's roll through to find plank. On your exhale, deep out of the knees as we return back to downward dog. Take a few of these at your own pace. Inhale, rolling through. Exhale, deep back. Every time I roll up to plank, I'm almost thinking that cat back of the spine. It's like a little wave. I pull the belly up into my back space and roll it up to that plank shape. All right, the next time you're in plank, stay steady. This is a nice warm-up for the shoulders and great practice for inversions later on. Everything stays the same. I'm just sinking into my shoulders a little bit. Shoulder blades are kissing behind me, and I press the floor away. My elbows are not bending. Elbows are fully long here. My plank doesn't shift. It's just an isolation in the shoulders. So no bend in the elbows at all. If you're going to be tempted to bend the elbows, do not. It's shoulders. Press back to downward dog. Let's do this twice more. On an inhale, roll through to plank. Freeze your plank. Shoulder isolations. Sink into the shoulder blades and push. This pushing motion is what you feel as you're doing any type of, or like handstands for instance, you're really pushing the floor away. And back, downward dog. One more time. Find your plank and isolate through the shoulders. If you're doing this correctly, you should be feeling super warm pretty quickly in the shoulders. Let's find our way back to downward dog. And extended child's pose. Wind the knees, tap the toes, melt the chest, energy through the arms. Curling up through the spine, tuck the toes, knees back to parallel, and we press it back, downward dog. All right, a couple rounds of this together, then we're on our own for a few rounds. We're gonna roll through to find plank. Knees drop down, seat is way up in the air as I lower my chest and my chin. Sliding forwards into cobra, the hips do not come off the ground. Bending my knees, tuck the toes, back to downward dog. Let's do this once more together, and then we're on our own. Curling up, find plank. Lower the knees, chest and chin. Elbows graze the side of the waist. Slide forwards, inhale, cobra. Exhale, bend the knees, tuck the toes, press it back. Let's go for 2 more rounds. The next time you're in your downward dog, we hold. Deep breath. On an inhale, right leg lifts high. Exhale, as we draw knee into the chest, restacking shoulders over wrists, back into that plank. Breath in as the leg extends high. Exhale as we draw knee towards left elbow, twist. Inhale, lengthen high. Exhale, knee taps right elbow. We repeat that whole thing on the side, sweeping it up. Exhale, knee draws to chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, find that twist. Breath in. We're gonna hover the knee past the right elbow, freeze. Hold that plank. I'm pulsing my knee slightly towards an upwards right diagonal for 5. Just freezing here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale it high. Stepping that foot through between the hands. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toes, both hands come to the top of your right thigh, and just take an easy lunge here. Up for a mini back bend, interlace the hands on top of the thigh. I'm pressing my leg away just slightly, and my chest comes up towards the ceiling. Making our way towards half split. Now, for me, I have to wiggle my right heel forwards an inch or two. Depends on your body though. I'm going to lengthen through my right hamstring. If you have blocks, if you can't reach the floor, it can be helpful here. I'm aiming for a super long spine. My hips are square, so I'm drawing my right hip back and my left hip forwards. Check in with your left hip as it's stacked over your left knee. From here, find as long of a spine as you possibly can. Melting the belly towards your thigh, and you can feel free to stay here with a long spine, or if you feel like rounding your way down, just finding that maximum place that you can achieve with a long spine. And from there, I like to walk my hands forward, roll down, relax my head towards my knee. Finding our way towards a lunge, so I'm going to slide my heel back a little bit because I moved it forwards. Tuck the back toes under, energy through the back leg. Keep that back leg long. I'm taking a little baby shift forwards and back. Planting the left palm down on the mat as we open up our twist to the right side. Circling through the shoulder while we're here. So I'm swimming my arm back and around. Ideally, follow that hand with your gaze. Planting both palms down. Find your way back to a one-legged dog. Sweep that leg high in an in-breath. And we find our way back to downward dog. Few deep breaths. On an inhale, left leg rises high. Exhale as you draw knee in towards the chest. Really dome the upper back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee taps right elbow twist. Breath in, extend high. Knee taps left elbow. Repeating the series again, sweeping up. Exhale, draw towards your chest. Lengthening high. Knee taps right elbow twist. Inhale. Over and freeze. You are in your plank and you're frozen with the knee past left elbow. Little pulses with the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift. Footsteps through between the hands. Back knee lowers down, untuck the toes. Both hands come to the top of your left thigh. And letting gravity do most of the work as you relax your hips further forward. Check in that your left knee is stacked right over your ankle. Pressing away if you want to add in a little bit of a back bend. Both palms plant down. Lengthening through that left hamstring. So I need to personally wiggle my heel forwards in order to get my right hip to stack over my knee. But the points to remember, square hips, left hip draws back, right hip draws forward, and long spine to start. Feel free to keep the long spine, or I like to walk my hands forward and begin to relax my head down. Finding our way back into our lunge. This time, back toes flip under. We energize through that back leg. I'm rocking gently forwards and back. Planting my right palm down as I take a twist open to the left. Circling through that shoulder, sweeping back and around, following my hand with my gaze. Oh, words. From here, both palms plant down. Try to lift that left foot right where it is. And in order for that to happen, I really have to push the floor away. Similar to that engagement that we created with the shoulder isolation. So I'm pushing that floor, then I can lift my foot without sliding it on my mat. Lifting it up, one-legged dog, and breathe in our downward dog. At the base of your exhale, gazing up towards the hands, begin to walk the feet forward. Now it's up to you. I like toes touching heels slightly apart. Some people prefer hip width apart. Do what works for your body here. I'm going to start by bending my knees a lot. Relax the head, maybe shake it out, yes and no. Finding opposite elbows if you want, or you can let your arms dangle heavy. Maybe a little side to side sway. Alright, letting the arms hang heavy, find extension through the hamstrings as you lift up halfway. Inhale. Exhale as we melt the chest down. We have 3 more breaths like this. Inhale as we find length through the spine. Exhale, fold forwards. Breath in, extend. Let it go. Once more. On our next inhale, we curl up through the spine. We reach our arms up overhead in prayer. Exhaling through your chest. Mountain pose, Samasthiti heat. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, melt forwards. We're going to go through a few variations of Sun A. Inhale, halfway lift, because that's what we've been doing lately. Palms down, step it back. Keeping your shoulders stacked over the wrists, I'm just going to lower down, but I'm going to lower down with my elbows grazing the side of my waist. So we're not in Chaturanga land yet. We just lower down to the floor. Untuck the toes, come into Cobra. Inhale, pelvis stays rooted down. Let's press back through Child's Pose first. So wind the knees if you want. Curling up through the spine, tuck the toes, legs always to parallel, then to downward dog. And right away at the base of your exhale, gazing up towards the hands, let's step the feet forwards again. Right away into halfway lift. Exhale, melt the chest. Curling up through the spine, sweeping the arms up. Exhale through heart center. Tadasana. Breath in, inhale. Exhale, melt forwards, hands to the chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant the palms, step back. This time, an option for Chaturanga. So let's take an extra inhale here. Shift your weight forwards, lower 90 degrees and hover. From there, the toes flip under, up dog. Pelvis is now off the ground. Exhale as we press it back, downward dog. So from here, there's always an option. You can choose to lower down to the mat and come up into Cobra, or you can join me in Chaturanga and come into up dog. We're going to go through Sun A a couple more times here. So, gazing up towards the hands at the base of your exhale, there's an option to float forwards now. Coming onto the balls of the feet, bending the knees, lightly float to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, curling up through the spine. Inhaling as arms reach up. Exhale, melt through the chest. Tadasana. Breath in, reach hop. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. If we are floating back, please, your elbows are bending before your feet even touch the ground. You are landing in Chaturanga, never jumping back into plank. That's something I see all the time, so make sure that's not you. We're always jumping and our elbows are bending before our feet touch the ground, never back into plank. All right, let's go through this one more time. At the base of your exhale, gazing up. Float forwards as lightly as possible. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, melt the chest. Curling up through the spine. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, melt through heart center. Tadasana. Breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We float or step back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, press it back, and breathing in our downward dog. Okay. Great. Just a little note for Jiang. Please don't jump into, as you jump, actually this is for everyone. Let's just take a little pause here. So what I'm saying with the never jumping into plank, you never want to land here with the arms locked, because that's equivalent to jumping down onto something and not bending the knees for that give. So if we do choose, we have to step back to plank. Otherwise, halfway lift, I bend my knees, I plant my palms. Watch my elbows. When I lift my feet off the ground, they're bending, and I land here in my chaturanga. So let's just try that one more time, because it's very important. So let's all step to the front of the mat. You can opt to not jump at all, of course, because this is actually an advanced thing. If we're not jumping, please just take one more round of chaturanga, plant the palms, step to plank, gently lower down. Otherwise, let's inhale, halfway lift. Plant the palms, focus on bending those elbows before your feet touch the ground. It takes a lot of strength. Yes, inhale, lift. Up dog, and we'll press it back, down dog. Taking several deep breaths here. Yeah, never force yourself to jump back if you feel that you're not ready muscularly for that, because it's very challenging, very challenging. Let's take a pause in child's pose. Wind the knees, touch the toes, melt the heart forwards. Perhaps taking a gentle little rock side to side here. Okay, curling up through the spine. Tuck the toes, pressing your way back to downward dog. At the base of your exhale, gazing up. Option to float or step forwards to the top of the mat. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift. Melt the chest down. Curling up again. Sweeping the arms high. Hands through heart center. We're going through a variation of sun B here. Hands to the sides of the body. Tadasana. Finding a deep seat. As you sit way back so that your knees are stacking over the ankles. You may even feel like you're falling back, like I just did there. So sit super low, super back. Staying low, hands through heart center as we twist over towards the left. I'm trying to root the top portion of my arm onto my left leg there. And I'm gently pressing down with my left arm to get my palms closer towards my heart space. Staying low, just inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center, and we twist to the second side. Check in with your knees. A lot of times we like to slide forwards while we twist. Keep them even. You're feeling some burning in your thighs. It's kind of the goal here. We're going per breath a few rounds. Bear with me. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center, twist to the left. Breath in, extend high. Exhale to the right. Embrace the burn if it's happening. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Sweep it high. To the right. We have one more time each way. We got this. Sweeping up. To the left. Exhale. Breath in. To the right. We're almost there. Center. One breath. Exhale. Lengthen through the legs. Relax the head. Shake it out. Stay here for a minute. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant the palms, step or float back to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Press it back, down dog. On an inhale, right leg lifts high. We draw the foot in towards the inside of the right palm. Back ankle lowers down, but maintaining squared hips. So wherever that is, it's about 45 degrees. Come on up into your warrior one. Let's circle the arms back behind us and find a clasp. Palms stay together. Lift the chest up towards the ceiling. We're folding forwards to the inside of the right knee. Humble warrior. Do not let this fold forwards affect where your hips are though. Tendency is to open up that left hip. Square that left hip off. The shoulders also stay square. On an inhale, we reach everything high. Warrior one. Exhale, option to plant, float the leg, and lower chaturanga. It is a lot on that one exhale, I know, but that's what we go for if we can. We'll all meet back in our downward dog. On an inhale, left leg reaches high. Step to the inside of the left hand. Back ankle lowers down about 45 or wherever you need to square off those hips, and come on up. Circling back behind you. Finding your opposite clasp or your opposite thumb if you remember which one you used. Chest up. Deep breaths. Lower body is rooted. Do not change your hips as you gently dive your torso to the inside of the leg. Alright, extra deep breath in as we sweep up, because all on the exhale, I want us to plant, float, lower chaturanga. If one leg isn't working out, it's alright. Just find your normal chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, of course, and we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot through between the hands. From here, we're lengthening through the right hamstring. It doesn't have to lengthen all the way if you're not ready for that. However, make sure that the back leg stays super long. So blocks can be very helpful here if you happen to have them and the floor is far away. Alright, the next time you are in that deep bend, stay. I'm going to pop my back foot forwards as though I'm going into a warrior one position, but I'm not. So I'm going to just draw my back foot in. My ankle reaches down towards the mat. Both legs are long. And fold your torso forwards. Just relax yourself over both legs. Alright, if you can, both hands on the hips. It's just a little balance. Curl it up to stand. From here, my left arm reaches up. I reach over slightly towards the left. I twist my torso over slightly. I'm hinging down, aiming to reach my hand towards the outside of the right foot. So I'm hinging. Block here is also super helpful for my body. I personally need a little bit of support here. Or if your fingertips are on the ground, that's great. Option for the right hand is simply come behind the back. Or if you want to open up into that twist, here's a little twist. It's not easy at all, especially with the hand on the outside of the right foot. Let everything dangle forwards for a moment. Bending the right knee and come up to stand. From here, there's an option. Actually, let's just keep the hands at heart center for now. I'm going to rotate my back leg so that it is parallel, so now my heel is off the ground. Rocking my weight forwards, I'm finding my way towards warrior three. The tendency in our warrior three is to open up that left hip. Try not to let that happen. The left hip is down towards the mat and your toes should be facing down. That's really hard, especially for my body. Sometimes it helps to micro bend your supporting leg in order to get that rotation to happen. The hip rotation down, or square hips. From here, let's all extend the arms to the side of the body. I am going to bend my right knee and swim my arms up overhead. I'm then going to straighten my right leg and the arms float back to the side of the body. It's a stabilization and strengthening exercise. Take your time. All right, finding your way to high lunge. Lowering the back ankle down 90 degrees and bending the right knee 90 degrees. So you're in your warrior two on the right side. Make sure you're tracking the knee over your second toe. You're gazing past the left arm. Let's inhale the arms up overhead as you straighten the right leg and gaze to the side. Exhale as you rebend that knee and gaze past your right palm. Repeating a few times at your own pace. The next time you're in your warrior two, we stay. Reversing the right hand and lean it back, reverse warrior. Gently lengthening through that right leg. Up and over to the side, as far as you can before you melt down into your Trikonasana. Little to no weight. If you have the hand on the leg like I do, little to no weight. It's literally floating there for me. If you need some support, you can gently rest it or gently place your fingertips on the floor or to a block. Let's reach the left arm up overhead. Find an increase in that side body stretch. I'm circling my way down towards a wide-legged forward fold. So, lowering myself down, flex my right foot, rotate parallel towards my other leg, and dangle here. Now, for those of us that already have a headstand practice, you can enter headstand from here. If this is like no for you today, do not worry about it. Just find an interlace of the palms behind the back and lengthen the arms up and over your head. For those of us that do want to attempt or already have a headstand practice from here, you first need to get your head down on the mat, of course. So for me, I have to widen my feet out a little bit more. From there, the crown of my head comes down. I'm drawing my arms back to make sure that my elbows are stacking over my wrists. And I have an equilateral triangle from my head to both of my hands. From there, once I have the position set, I rock my weight forward onto the balls of the feet, and perhaps you find some float. And only if you feel comfortable do you begin to raise the legs up towards your full inversion. Of course, we come down just as slowly as we went up. So if you are inverted with me, open up the legs, flex the feet. From there, you're using your core and control to lower your feet down to the mat. Those of us that are interlaced behind the back, let's let that go. And walk both hands over to one side. Doesn't matter, just pull your torso in towards one leg. And let's walk over to the second side. Come on, center. Bend the knees slightly as you curl up to stand. We find our way back to warrior two on the right side. So flex the right foot, rotating 90 degrees, gaze past that hand. Reverse that palm, lean forward slightly before you go back. Deep breath. On your exhale, all on the exhale, plant, step, lower chaturanga. Come on up, inhale, up dog. Exhale, press it back. Deep breaths here. stepping our left foot through between the hands. Energy through that back leg. Lengthening through that left hamstring and refinding your way towards a deep lunge. This is at your own pace, back and forth. The next time you're in that deep lunge, stay. Popping the back foot in about a foot or so and getting that ankle to lower down. So you're kind of in a warrior one position, except we're going to lengthen through that left leg. Checking in with your hips, you can have your hands back on your spine or your sacrum and see if the right hip, wants to open up. So square that hip down, relax the head. Let gravity do most of the work here. Finding your hands onto your hips, little balance, curling up to stand. From there, the right arm reaches high. You rotate your torso slightly over towards the left as you hinge with a long spine. Hinge, hinge, finding lots of space and reaching towards the outside of your left foot. If the flexibility isn't there, a block can help support, or maybe just coming a little higher on that leg is also an option. Either the left hand behind the back, or you can begin to open up into your twist. Check in with that back ankle. Is it down? Mine was personally lifting up a bit, so it's a reminder to anchor the whole foot down on the mat. Releasing forwards, bending the left knee slightly as you come up to stand. Hands to heart center, back foot comes parallel, so kind of in a lunge, rocking your weight forwards, finding float with that back leg. You are now in your Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Actively pulling that right hip down. I feel a stretch when my hips are truly facing, are truly squared off. Hands float to the side of the body. We are now going to bend that left knee as the arms swim high. Keep that T shape. Lengthen the leg as the arms come to the side of the body. Taking your time here. It's okay if you fall out of it. High lunge. Warrior 2 on the left side, so we rotate that back heel down to the mat. Check in that your left knee isn't coming in at all. It is stacking over your toes. Lengthening the arms overhead as we find a long left leg. Exhale, refold. A few more breaths like this. Next time you're in that deep bend in your left knee, your Warrior 2. Reverse the left palm and let's lean it back. Find energy through the left leg, reaching up and over to the side as far as you can before we find our way into Trikonasana. Reaching the right arm overhead so we increase that stretch through the whole right side of the waist. Spinning our way back into a wide-legged forward fold. This time, let's find a halfway lift. From that halfway lift, we externally rotate both of our legs. So heels draw in, toes face away. Pick a side, it doesn't matter because we're switching sides. Bending a knee and flexing straight, the foot of the straight leg. So I'm in a side lunge. And gently walking over to the second side. For our side lunges, do make sure that the knee is stacking over your feet, I have a tendency to roll that knee in, which is of course not good for our joints. And for those of us who wish to add on from here, extend your arms long in front of you. So you're not using the support of your arms at all as you stay low and switch sides. Just an option. Nice, awesome. All right, if you need to balance out one more side, please do. We're going to find ourselves back into a wide-legged forward fold. Toe heel our feet slightly closer together. So bit past your hips, external rotation, and we're melting our hips down into our Malasana squat. So hands at heart center. I'm actively using my elbows to assist in that hip opening. Breathe. Okay, feel free to hang out in your Malasana. For those that want to join me in Crow, that's where we're going next. So, I'm going to face this way so you can see me. This is a new way I've been teaching it. Funny enough, I discovered this from one of my favorite instructors. So instead of the legs being parallel, let's start with the heels together and toes apart. So you do have that little external rotation in your legs. From here, I'm just going to bend my knees a lot, plant the palms down about a foot away from my feet. From there, I'm going to raise onto the balls of my feet. Now, a lot of people wrap the knees around the arm, which you can, but it's not technically the correct way of entering this posture. So instead of trying that, let's just straight away have the knees into the armpits if you can. From there, just rock your weight into your hands. That's all it is. There is never jumping. Sometimes I see my students trying to jump into crow. Do not jump. You just have to rock your weight forwards enough. And the higher you are on the ball of your feet, the less painful this will be, because your knee is kind of sharp if you're not all the way onto the balls of your feet. So rock your weight forwards enough, and maybe you float one foot off. Perhaps you try the other foot, and maybe you find your way towards that full crow. Just gonna take a peek here. Nice, great. Jiang, awesome, yay. Let's give this a rest. Simply find a forward fold. Step the right foot back into a lunge. Come back into warrior two on the left side. Since we did this on the right side, let's just balance it out. So in my warrior two shape on the left, reverse the palm, lean back. Cartwheel down, and your vinyasa. So you can choose to lower down to the mat instead of chaturanga, no worries. Otherwise, do your chaturanga to up dog. Press on that exhale to your down dog. Lower onto the knees for a moment, because I'm going to demonstrate what this next thing is. Don't let it scare you. And do make sure that it looks like everyone has enough space, just so that there's not objects that are breaking or crashing or anything around. So this is a handstand exercise. Now it doesn't need to go up into a full handstand, but it will also, with practice, it will make your float to the top of the mat feel like nothing at all. So I find my downward dog first. I come onto the balls of my feet, look up and bend my knees just like I'm about to float to the top, but I'm not going to float to the top. Instead, I'm going to take little baby hops. And it doesn't matter how high you get. Eventually, you'll be able to stack your hips more and more over your wrists and magically find a balance. But let that not be your aim. So let's try here. Downward dog. For this exercise, I do like my toes touching, but you do you. I like my toes touching so I can feel the energy of my legs together. Coming onto the balls of my feet, gazing up, bend the knees. I'm just aiming for a little float, and do make sure to really bend the knees on the landing in order to absorb the shock. Yeah, that's all it is. And our hips are heavy, so if you're not used to this, it's actually quite challenging. challenging to overshoot it. So don't worry too much about overshooting unless you're already super proficient at this. Yeah, little baby hops. Awesome. Breathe in your downward dog for a minute. We're going to attempt this one more time. Yeah, deep breaths. Okay, let's try for this one more time. Onto the balls of the feet, gazing up towards your hands, bend the knees, and find some float. Child's pose, rest. It can be heart intense, little cardio there. So breathe, slow down your breath. Curling up through the spine, tuck the toes under, find your way to downward dog. And let's float to the top of the mat. It should feel like nothing after all that. Gazing up towards the hands, onto the balls of the feet, we float to the top. You may have made lots of progress in your float up just from trying that exercise. And let yourself dangle forwards for a minute. Slowly rolling up through the spine. I'm going to take some standing postures here. So let's hug the right knee into the chest. Give that a little squeeze. There's an option to simply take your left palm onto that knee and take a twist open. The more advanced variation is see if you can take your hand to the outside, the pinky side of that foot. And open up from here and perhaps extend through the leg. From here, come back center. So keep the knee high, hands to heart center. I'm simply going to hinge back. You'll see what I'm going to do here. Into a warrior three, into my standing split. So I'm kicking, kicking, kicking. Here I am in my warrior three. And then I just hinge even further and see if I can not touch the ground at all. Go straight for my ankle into that standing split. If that fails, the ground is not far away from you. So no worries. And the final step in that standing split is to drop the head in line with the spine. It's the hardest part. It knocks me off balance all the time. But that's eventually where we want to be. Placing your palms down on the mat. We'll find our way towards low lunge on the left side. We come on up to high lunge. Rotating the back ankle down, so back to warrior two. Reverse the left palm, lean it back. Palm comes all the way down to the inside of the left foot as we open up into our side angle. If we want to bind, that right hand comes behind the back. Left arm reaches underneath the leg. Find a clasp. And a lot of times when we find the clasp, we're dipping the chest forwards. So if that's happening like it is to me, really try to rotate back into that one long, energetic line from the head down to your ankle. If you are choosing not to bind, we're just taking a second round of triangle from here. So if you're not bound, just come into your second round of triangle. If you're bound and you want to keep the bind, see if you can lengthen through that leg in a bound version of triangle. Just options. For me personally, in that bound triangle, I get a lot of tension in my neck if I try to gaze up. So if that's you as well, it's okay. You can take your gaze down to the mat. If you are bound, just release the bind. And rebend the knee. I'm going to place both palms, so I'm going to rotate myself into a lunge on the left side. So both palms come down to the inside of my left foot, my back leg rotates back to parallel, and I'm toe heeling the left foot over to the left side of the mat. I am now in my lizard pose. Active lizard for a moment, so keep the back leg long, walk the arms forward. This is active lizard. Just breathe here for a couple breaths to feel what this is like. And then if you want to stay here, you can stay here, or you can choose to drop the knee down. Maybe your forearms come down. Lots of variations to play with in your lizard, so find the one that works for your body in this moment. If you want to hang out in your lizard some more, stay here. Or if you want, you can come on up. I'm going to take my left arm and reach it behind me, so I'm finding a twist. From that twist, I bend my knee, I capture the pinky side of the foot, and I find a little quad stretch here. So melting my hips forward. If that front leg wants to externally rotate, it's okay. You can choose that external rotation. Gently release that leg. Planting both palms down, step back to plank, shift your weight forward, and lower 90 degrees, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale, Adho Mukha. Gazing up towards the hands, raising onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees. Let's try to float up again. Little light, float to the top. Awesome, yes! Halfway lift. Exhale, melt, curling up through the spine. From here, your left knee draws into the chest. Little squeeze. Option to have your right hand on your knee or captures the pinky side of that foot. I'm then going to rotate my torso towards a twist. Perhaps that left arm reaches out and you take the gaze past the hand. Never compromising the length of the spine for the length of the leg. I know we really want to extend the leg long. I personally cannot extend the leg all the way long without rounding in my backs, and that's okay. So from here, come back center. Keep the knee floating, hands to heart center. I first kick the heel back into warrior three. Staying balanced as best I can. I tilt myself down, aiming straight for my ankle towards that standing split, and I'm trying to lower the head down in line with the spine, which just knocked me off balance because that's something I'm still working on too. Doing our best. It's all we can ask for. That we show up, do our best, and every day is different. Both palms plant down as we find our way to low lunge on the right side. We then reach our arms up, high lunge. Lowering the back ankle down into warrior two. Reverse warrior. Finding our way towards side angle, that palm reaches down to the inside of the foot. And left arm opens up. If you want to take that bind, left arm behind the back. Right arm scoops underneath the leg. Find a clasp. But make sure to rotate back into that one long line. We either have a second round of triangle with open arms or keep the bind. It is up to you. If you're bound, be super slow as you begin to lengthen through the leg. If If you're bound, we let it go. We're all meeting in an open triangle for a moment. And then rebend the knee, so we're back into our side angle. From there, both hands come down to the inside of the right foot as we walk the right foot over to the right side of the mat. Going for our active lizard just for a few breaths. So long back leg, I walk my arms forward. Fingertips are touching the ground. And I can let my head relax here. If you like this feeling of that active lizard, actually, you can also keep your palms down. I said fingertips for some reason because sometimes I gravitate to that, but the palms can be down, of course. If you want to stay here, stay. Otherwise, lower that knee down. Lower the forearms down, perhaps. And just breathe. Slowing things down from here. Option to stay here in your lizard or come on up. Bending that back knee, reaching the arm up and back to catch the foot. Yes, this is ever too much on the knee. Just forget about it. Hang out for a while or roll up the mat. That can help with the knee sometimes. Once you do have it, Sabrina, if you can get your right knee to stack over your ankle, that'd be awesome. Yeah, always keeping that aligned. Cool. If you have that, gently let it go. Both palms plant down. We step back to plank. Let's just take an inhale in our plank. Rock your weight forwards. Lower chaturanga. Flip the toes under, up, down. Exhale, press it back. Check in with your downward dog. It may feel different from the very start. So your heels may be dropping down further into the mat. But we also might be getting tired. So check in where your weight are in your hands. We're still not, yes, awesome, Scarlett. Too much pressure on our wrists. We are going to melt towards a nice extended child's pose. Once you're there, walking both hands over to the left side of the mat and pouring your weight into that right arm. Maybe feeling some opening sensation on that side. Gently walking over to the second side and pouring your weight into that left arm. Turning your way towards center. Curling up, tuck the toes, press it back. Downward facing dog. We are melting into pigeon on the left side. Actually, whichever your non-dominant side is, I want us to do first. So whether you know which side is your weak side, let's do the weak side first. For me, it's the left leg. So I'm personally going to draw that knee in towards the inside of my left wrist. Now, if you're super flexible in your hips, I am not. Maybe your shin is parallel to the top of the mat. If it is, super flex that foot to protect the knee. For me, I need quite a deep bend in my knee, so that flexing isn't actually very comfortable for my body, but I still want to protect the knee, so I'm actively pointing my foot. It's never passive. Check in with your pigeon to make sure you're not falling to either side. And if you have any props, pillows, blocks, and you want to place it underneath your seat, that can be a nice option as well. So before we melt down, I want us to find a long spine. So see if you can stack the shoulders over the hips. Find lots of length. Make sure that back leg's as far back so you can get it, and that the leg is parallel. Beginning to take at least 3 deep breaths to walk down. Perhaps you stay on your forearms for a moment. And perhaps you extend the arms all the way out long and drop the head down to the mat, or sometimes I just like to bend my elbows and use my arms as a pillow. We are going to be here for a couple of minutes, so see if you can just surrender to where you are and allow your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in to open up the body. More deep breaths on this side. See if you can get your muscles to fully surrender for the next 5 breaths. Slowly walking the hands up to support, remembering in all postures, especially the ones we've held for a long time, to move super slow. So I'm going to walk my hands underneath my shoulders and actively press. Tuck the back toes under, energize through the back leg. I'm lifting slowly into that one-legged dog. Open up the hip, bend the knee. If you would like to flip your dog, that is an option here, or some people call it rock star. So I'm going to lower the toes down towards the mat, stacking the left shoulder over the wrist, hips up towards the ceiling, and my right arm overhead, if you want. If you did find the flip, we reverse the way we came. So palm down, right leg lifts up on the inhale, and exhale as we lower down. Let's take another pedal through the feet in our downward dog. And whenever you feel ready, we'll set up our second side. As you place that leg where you want it to be, you slide the other leg back, long behind you, finding length first. So either actively pointing or flexing through the foot. And go ahead and walk yourself forward. If pigeon ever is bothersome on your knee, I know for some reason my left side kind of gets tweaky. An alternative is to go on the back and just take a figure 4. So yeah, sometimes pigeon's just not for me some days. So never force yourself into a position that you feel is compromising on your body. supporting yourself on the way up. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Press the floor away actively as you tuck the back toes under and energize through the back leg. From there, yes, you lift up and back into that one-legged dog. Open up the hip, bend the knee, and if you flipped on the first side, let's balance ourselves out. So getting the ball of the foot down, really reaching the hips up towards the ceiling, and the right arm up and back behind you. Awesome, Nate, yes. Reversing the way we came. Retrograding the movement, so palm down, leg up to one-legged dog, back to our downer dog. Let's take another pedal if that feels good. Always feels good for me after pigeon for some reason. And, all right, in our downward dog, we're just taking one more little strengthening thing. So dolphin pose from here. Straight from your downward dog. If you can lower both of your elbows down at the same time, do. Otherwise, if that's too much, you can try it, one at a time. Let's see if you can simultaneously lower down. The forearms are parallel. And we're just breathing here. If you want more, walk the feet forwards. Perhaps you lift one leg, take several deep breaths. Of course, both sides. And since we've slowed this down now, I'm not going to ask for us to go into any more balances from here. So just feel the strengthening that's happening in the shoulders in that dolphin pose. Let's take one more deep inhale and find your child's pose. This time, knees together, palms to the side of the body, facing up. Let it go. Curling up gently, sitting, drawing the heels close to the seat, arms forwards in front of you. Deep breath, and exhale as we roll down using your control all the way through. Once we're there, we hug the knees into the chest. Heels down towards the mat, palms down, legs are hip-width apart and parallel. We press the back space down, so pinning, it's a slight tilt of the pelvis. Lower back pins down, and we lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Make sure the knees don't splay out, they stay exactly hip-width into a little bridge shape. Gently roll it down. Deep breath in at the base. Exhale as you pin the low spine down, tilt the pelvis, and lift up. Lower down. We have one more round. The next time, there's an option to interlace the palms. So let's take a deep breath at the base here. Exhale, pin the low spine, tilt the pelvis, lift. Find a clasp of the palms and walk the shoulders underneath yourself slightly. Press the hips up towards the ceiling. Letting the palms go, roll down the spine. Hugging the right knee into the chest as we extend the left leg long on the mat. From here, we'll cross the knee over the body. Right arm extends long, either totally long or maybe a bend 90-degree cactus shape. Whichever way you choose, just make sure that your shoulder blades are rooted down. Finding our way through center, releasing the right leg long, drawing the left knee into the chest. So while I'm pulling the knee in, my bottom leg is nice and elongated. So I'm even feeling a stretch, at least for my body, through my right hip flexor as I pull that knee in gently. From there, cross it over the body, extend the left arm long. Both shoulder blades are rooted down. Perhaps you take the gaze over that left arm. Come on through center, finding a happy baby, catching the outside edges of your feet. The tendency is to lift the spine off the mat. See if you can get the base of the spine down and root it. From here, I'm gently pressing my feet down towards the earth. Maybe you want to take a gentle side-to-side rock on the spine. If you feel warm enough, you can lengthen one leg, maybe both legs out into a straddle. This is our final guided posture. If you feel the need for anything else for your own body, feel free to keep flowing for the next minute or so with whatever you feel you need. Otherwise, when you're ready to join me in Shavasana, we'll draw the knees into the chest. Draw the head up to the knees. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, we let everything go. Legs as wide as the mat, palms to the side of your body, facing up. And any breath control you have retained is released here. first by taking deep breaths in, filling up your lungs to the maximum capacity, nice and slow. And just as slowly as you inhale, breathe out gentle. Usually there's that little extra air that we can exhale, trying to find the extent or range of your breath. From here, finding some gentle ways to reawaken your body, perhaps by wiggling the extremities or rock of the head side to side. But do maintain your eyelids gently closed. That was a heated class. We went very solar in ways. So let's roll over towards our lunar side, which is the right side of our body. So rest here, a little side lying position for a couple deep breaths. We'll press our way gently towards a seat. Be closing the eyes if you had to sit up, or open your eyes as you sit up. So any position that enables a nice long spine, of course, lots of space, easeful posture, maybe placing a blanket or a block under the seat. I love to sit on my shins, so either shins or sukhasana, it's up to you. Palms, wherever you might need them, perhaps both palms on your heart space. Maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Just finding a place to ground yourself wherever that may be. And with this last sound, I just want us to all join in on an Om together to finish. Thank you everyone for joining me, sharing your practice with me. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to, let's have them on the Facebook group, so that'll be easier than the Zoom. Any questions, comments, please post them right where I said with the Zoom link, that would work. Or later on, I'm going to see if I can post this class on YouTube and send that link. So anywhere you want to message me, feel free, or personally message me, that's great too. But have a great rest of your day, and I will be joining you tomorrow for our first little school posture breakdown work. So thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Great class.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Bye. Thanks.